Hello everybody and welcome to your Anhur Season 9 Hunter Guide. So we're going to be starting us off with a nice Death's Toll, taking ourselves a tier 1 mace, a couple of health pots, a couple of multi-pots here for the laning phase. And of course our beads, they got a lot of CC on that team. They got the double dodgy pull as well if they want to, which would suck, but that's okay because we've got a CC immune ult. And her right now, I would say solidly a good hunter. Just like a solid way for you to support the Twitchiest community is by making sure you're subscribed on YouTube and hit that like button and comment down below to help out with the algorithm, guys. I do appreciate it. But Anhur's a good hunter. He's pretty much always a good hunter. It's just a matter of whether he's a great hunter or a good hunter. He still thrives in that 1v1 situation. Over in the duo lane, it's kind of, kind of a dual god, if you will. Right now, he doesn't have the best meshing with the kind of meta builds. A lot of attack speed stim gods finding their way into the meta because of the 20% pen silver branch bow that also can give you a lot of power if you do it right. And he does not have an attack speed stim in order to actually abuse that item, so we will not be buying it on him. So he's a little off meta just in terms of like the actual build itself, but he makes up for it by having a pretty awesome kit, which we're going to use right now to jump in on our enemies and get some poke onto both of these guys. If that actually would have hit the Woojer, I might have been able to finish him off. I'm going to kind of push him back. I've got my beads up if Kepri does get 2 and go for that flex, so I can kind of stand forward here and not have to worry about it. Just going to get Kepri off my Ymir so he doesn't get poked too hard. Anhur will always be a premier 1v1 hunter as long as he has the kit that he has, and I don't imagine that it's ever going to change on Anhur as well. You can see we're going over here to these left side harpies. Make sure you always go to those left side harpies first when you win that lane clear. It gives you way more farm than the tiny camps on the right, although do keep in mind that in the 9.2 patch they're going to be changing that to be a lesser camp, so it won't be nearly as efficient as it is now. So make sure you're getting all the XP out of it that you can while it is still that way. I'm kind of just waiting for the Woojer to jump and then I can go in on this. This is fine. Kepri plug down. I do not mind fighting this. I'm just going to go for an impale. Gonna switch my target priority to Kepri. Looks like we forced a meditation as well as a beast. Fantastic right there for us. For our leveling order on Anhur, we're going to be starting off with our impale, and this is also going to be the ability that we're maxing out first. Pretty easy leveling on Anhur. You impale, you get your jump at level 2 because you basically always get your escape at level 2 in smite. Very few exceptions to that. Then you're going to grab your pillar at level 4 and your ulti at level 5. Once you get to that point, your leveling order is 4, 2. Oh, I hear a Morrigan. Your leveling order is going to be 4, 2, 1, 3. Level up your ulti and your impale for pretty straightforward reasons. Lots of damage is good. Then you rank up your 1 next because of that same reason. It gives you a higher slow, which means easier to hit your target, and it also gives you that increased damage buff. And then finally, leveling up your getaway skill last. It's only going to give you more damage on the Anhur jump. You don't get any cooldown reduction on your leap or anything like that. Now for our build, Devo Gloves is an option over in dual lane to start. If you start with Devo Gloves, you are going to have a much more passive laning phase. Anhur, not much of a passive laner. And on top of that, I'm not much of a passive laner either. So I haven't been going a ton of Devo Gloves. Do keep in mind that Crusher was also just nerfed. The text on Crusher is actually not updated yet. So it still says that it gives you the same amount of attack speed that it used to, but Crusher actually gives 5% less attack than it used to in the past, but it is still a good early game boxing option, even with that 5% less attack speed. The attack speed, honestly, not the end of the world for us on Anhur. We're not stacking anywhere near cap on it anyway.
I got your back, brother.
As far as the laning phase goes for Anhur, pretty good at the laning phase. Impale will go through gods and go hit those minions and stuff, so you don't got to worry about the body blocks of your clear. And he also has a very strong level 5 fight as well. One thing you got to be kind of a little careful about is just some of his mana consumption in the early stages of the game, which you'll be fine with as long as you have that death toll and you're just kind of auto-attacking the minions.
This land is mine.
There we go. So for our build, we are probably gonna end up with some crit in this build. Right here, you can go with Jotun's Wrath or a Crusher. I am gonna continue to go Crusher, even though it is nerfed right now, because Crusher is a super early aggressive item, and Anhur is a super early aggressive god, particularly because he has that flat pen on his passive, which means you've got a lot of damage early when nobody's got any protections online. For your partner, for your team comp that you're looking to lane with Anhur, Ymir, kind of the classic combination with Anhur. Very aggressive lane. Anhur likes to be aggressive, so typically you're going to want to pair him with a more aggressive support. Not really wanting to sit back, play passive, farm up. So I wouldn't recommend the more passive supports. Like, I don't really want to get when I'm playing Anhur, right? He's just kind of sitting back, waiting for like mid-game team fights. You're looking for something like a Ymir who can help you clear the wave, get aggressive with you, somebody that's got good aggressive CC. Atlas would work fantastically with him. Pick somebody up, throw him into a wall, boom. Now you just impale him into a wall. You don't even have to worry about your pillar combo. Somebody like Ymir. Ymir summons a wall. Oh, cool. Now I've got another wall that I can use for my impale. Just stuff like that. Compared to the more defensive supports that are going to transition into those team fights. But Anhur doesn't even care about that. He wants to win the game right off the bat. Ow! He might jump in on this. I gotta be careful, because if he jumps in on this, I'm actually probably dead. I've got beads, so I gotta go for the beads impale if he does, but he could also bees me right back. Let's see if I can force out the jump. No, I can't. For the gods that you like to go against, preferably on Anhur, the less
Enemy missing middle.
early game clear they have, the better. That way you can clear faster than them and then use your minions for a little body blocking action. Particularly if they're a late game focused hunter, you can try to take the heat to them early and stop them from getting to that late game stage of the game for a very long time. Example, like Artemis, who's actually a really good hunter right now, believe it or not. Still, not a premier early game laning phaser. Anhur can go right up to her, be aggressive, impale her into a wall, use the ulti to counter Tusky, and stop her from just snowballing into the late game. Same kind of concept with the other late game farmers, like Rama. So the traditional combo, that was a very aggressive jump back in. He wanted me so bad that I was just out of his jump range. The standard combo that you're gonna be going, I'm actually gonna do something a little cheeky right here, which is I'm gonna die no matter what. So I'm gonna try to just clear as much of the wave as I can and then die the tower so none of them get any of the gold for it. Also gonna start working on our Aussie. We're gonna do Crusher, grab it right into a Aussie, and that is gonna give us a lot of early game flat pen that combines, of course, with our protection reduction of 20 on our passive, which means that between those two items and the 20 flat reduction, we basically got 50 flat pen, which means we're doing true damage to whoever we are attacking. It's also good just to get some of that lifesteal going early, going into the Aussie, because of course we did not get the Devo gloves. If we would have had the Devo gloves, we wouldn't have to get an Aussie here, but we do need to get lifesteal in the build somewhere. for your standard combo on Anhur, we got to see a little bit of it earlier, but your standard combo is just your good old-fashioned 1-2 punch, known as the pillar stun. Now, this is not an easy-to-land combo. As you can see right there, we didn't hit it. You want to pillar behind your target, and then impale them into it. You get bonus damage because they are in that impale range. I'm actually going to go on Woojer right here. I'm going to pillar his way back to the fountain. And I'm going to ulti him, which hopefully will be able to finish him off. There we go. I got to knock away that dodgy from me. Keep him a little bit farther away. Gonna try to kite that as much as I can. Unfortunately, the whole team has once again rotated back over towards the duo lane. But that's standard combo. You throw out the pillar and then you stun. You don't have to be able to hit that pillar stun combo in order to be an efficient Anhur. The more comfortable you get landing the pillar stun, it's going to open up more aggressive opportunities for you. But you do not have to do the combo. You can see what ended up being more efficient for me in that fight was instead of going for the pillar stun, I stunned him into a wall that I just happened to have right next to me. And then I auto-attacked, pillared him away from where he was trying to go. So he was trying to get back to his fountain. He was stuck on the wall, so we throw down the pillar and use it as a giant body blocking technique to prevent him from getting away. Traditionally much easier just to impale somebody into one of the smite walls and then use your pillar to actually block them off from getting where they want to go. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Enemy missing middle.
I do need to get these wards out. Sooner than later would be good. Now he does not have his jump up, so I go for the impale on the tower, immediately following up with my ultimate. Now, if I would have missed that impale, then I would have been ulting and I would have gotten nothing out of it, because you basically want to start channeling that ulti the exact second that you throw out your impale. So in order to get the maximum efficiency out of Anhur, you do have to have the confidence that you're going to land the ability. And, you know, you're going to miss it sometimes and you're going to ulti into the oblivion and it's going to be kind of awkward. But better off being awkward sometimes than getting the kill. Morgan beads are down. I do need to run away from this dodgy, who is presumably going to have his ulti back up, and I don't have any CC immunity, so I do need to be very careful about him. My purple's coming up. I want to make sure that I secure this purple, but I can't afford to miss out on the experience from the wave either. That sucks. That's very rude. Well, at least I got the wave, but they are going to go take our purple because they're kind of all up in our business right now. Gonna grab myself an Aegis here for my second action. You can get a blink on Anhur if you want to.
What I needed.
A lot more aggressive, but it does actually work out pretty well. So now is the point of the build where you're gonna start probably working into some crit. I like the Atalanta's bow a lot right now. The Atalanta's plus Deathbringer combo, as far as crit is concerned, is kind of the go-to. Those two items give you a ton of extra damage, particularly on squishies. Not gonna embrace like a full crit build or anything. Just a little Atlanta's with a Deathbringer, and that actually gives us a lot of other, a lot of room in our build to shift it around if we need to, get some percent pen, we can keep or sell the death toll, etc. You never have to keep the death toll. You can. It can be really good, but you don't have to keep it. That's important to know. Really, none of the hunter items you have to keep. If you feel like you'd be better off having more penetration in the late game or something, you very well might be. Grabbed myself a sentry ward on the way back out. Everybody should be buying sentry wards onto your team. Really, no later than that about 10-minute marker. If you're not buying sentry wards by then, your team is probably losing the vision game, and you do not want to be losing the vision game. I know that he's got a ward over there. I know that the red buff is up. So I'm gonna see if I can't rotate over here. get a little cheeky on this red buff. I'll actually take that for myself, a little bonus. And her power, and then I'm gonna go counter this ward that he just put down. So now we're kind of moving into the mid-game stage. This is where a lot of objective fights will start happening. You can see they've been kind of walking around grabbing the objectives pretty easily. So right around this time is when you can start thinking about rotating. You don't have to, particularly if you are a hunter with a global ult, but obviously with Anhur we are not. So I do need to more consciously be thinking about, okay, what am I gonna back and rotate? What does my team want to go do? Are we looking to shove down a tower, get set up for Gold Fury, Pyromancer, etc.? Gonna try to jump away from this Dodgy. Put a pillar in between me and him. He did use a little beads right there. That's fine. I'm gonna see if he misses the ult. He's not gonna miss it, but I'm gonna be able to get some good damage off on him. Once again, gonna try to use the pillar slow to my advantage, and now we should be able to pick up that Dodgy. So Anhur has a lot of safe self-peeling capabilities.
I got your back,
You just have to be careful against certain gods. Dodgy, I used my ultimate in order to counter her ult, so that way I can keep my beads up, because obviously my ultimate is a much lower cooldown. And then I have to be careful about impaling. Got to be very careful about impaling the Dodgy, because she does have the knockback immunity when she's using her 2. Gonna throw down a wall, try to body block off Morgan. I actually will get credit. Actually, it looks like AMA got credit for it. You do get credit on things with Smite if you put them in the range of your pillar. That works for minions as well. I'm gonna keep this dive going for the Wukong, actually. I'm gonna jump right on top of him. A little risky, because now there's a Huyi here, so I've got to beat and try to get out of that, but that's fine. They are gonna be able to kill that Khepri in the background. Good thing we had our bees up. Otherwise, I would have been stuck in a Huyi ultimate. Had my Aegis up as well, so I probably wasn't in a super threat of dying, but it would have felt bad, man. I presume they've come back to do their buffs, and it looks like they have. See if his purple is still up, but Dodgy could be back as well, so
be careful.
I'm gonna call for the be careful right here and just go back to farming. As always in Smite, you really ought to be farming at all times. Even when you're rotating, try to come over and help kills, might want to grab yourself a little bit of farm on the way over. Always a good time to grab some farm. As for my job in these team fights as the hunter,
An enemy has been slain.
you really have 2 jobs. One is going to be inevitably kill their front line. Jeez Louise. You're not going to have much of an opportunity to be attacking their back line. Chances are you're going to be having to kill their front line. So this game, I'm probably going to have a Wukong and many a Dodgy on me, who probably won't be super tanky, luckily. But she may end up like a Mantle of Discord or something annoying. So you want to make sure that your build is going to be able to kill those frontliners, that being mostly the support and the solo. So crit doesn't help you out as much against them, usually, as some other items, and that's because a lot of time that front line right now ends up going either spectral armor, ends up going that Hide of the Nemean Lion, or both actually. Lord forbid they go both. If that does happen, then it's basically your mid-mage's job in order to make sure that you have the appropriate damage to deal with the front line. Because if they've committed that much to physical defense, they probably don't have a ton of magical defense. Although if they did go the Stronghold Amulet, the upgrade for Heartward, they actually could have a lot of magical protections as well. So gotta watch out for those tanky boys and make sure you've got a lot of pen. Of course, we grabbed a lot of that flat pen early with this build, but now we're working on that percent pen going into
Your right
a
tower is
dominant.
under attack. An ally has been slain.
Throw down myself a little defensive ward right there, and I heard the Wukong kind of teleport in. Gonna try to go help in the back line here. The immediate beat from the Daji, the immediate ultimate from the Daji. Luckily, he did miss. I'm gonna try to body block off this Wukong from getting to me, and then I'm gonna heal off of a purple buff, and then try to get back in this fight and re-engage. Wukong is still over here.
Enemy has been
Don't have to
slain.
be super afraid of him. Just gonna try to block him off. He's probably just gonna dash away, and he will. Because I've got my beads up, I can move a little bit forward on this. It's a very risky play right there. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm actually just gonna sit around this corner looking for Huyi, hopefully. Looks like Huyi is coming towards me. So I'm gonna go for a little pillar thud on him. Didn't quite reach the pillar. I don't know what he has up ability-wise, so hopefully he doesn't have his ult. Doesn't matter if he has his ult. We're gonna be able to grab the kill. Now I got a Wukong near me, so I need to make sure I'm saving my impale. But I'm actually probably gonna get rotated on by other people as well. I'm kind of just stuck over here. See if I can't grab some farm. If the Daji isn't coming, they're not gonna be able to kill me. And it looks like that they are gonna partially just give up on that. Not a lot of hunters right there will be able to intimidate the enemy team out of going for that fight. But Anhur just has so much self-peel. So what are we looking out for on Anhur? What do we really not want to play against? The more knock-up immunities they have, the more annoying. Obviously, your impale is a knockback, and your leap is a knock-up. So if they've got an easy way to go ahead and immunity that's going to be a problem for you. Daji is a great example. Her 2 does make her immune.
This will do nicely.
Her 2 does make her immune to our impale as well as our leap. So that is a big problem for us. And also extended immunity frames are also annoying for you. Typically that's going to be utilized against your ultimate, which does a ton of damage, but it doesn't help. So everybody can obviously get an Aegis, but somebody like Daji, once again a great example, can go in the air and simply wait it out. Camazotz, he can go in the air and wait it out. You also want to be careful of those kind of abilities, because once you start channeling that ultimate, it's off to the races. So those are the 2 things kind of above all else on Anhur that you are looking out for. Ymir might be able to chase him down a little bit. But I do want to be a little careful because I'd like to get set up for the Gold Fury if at all possible. I do have a Sentry Ward ready for it. There is a Morrigan here. She actually might be this way. I've got my Aegis at the ready just in case I need it. Actually, it doesn't even matter. Not even going to bother. That is once again their entire team coming towards the objective. So one of the major things this game that you can see we are doing wrong as a team is we are not actually playing the objectives right now. We've got the team over at the Pyro, which is fine. At least we're going to get something. But everybody should have already been over to the Gold Fury. The positioning right now, not very good. We need to make sure we have the wards. We need to make sure we have the presence over by the objective. That's the best objective. Gold Fury, infinitely more valuable than Pyromancer. A lot of this right now, honestly, map pressure wise, is probably because our mid lane lost so hard that we lost all of that mid lane pressure, and now they're kind of getting to free roam around the map and get better positioning on us. Got to get our mid laner quite a bit of farm, and now they're going to be able to go for the Fire Giant as well off of this. All of this simply could have been stopped if we would have had our whole team over by the Gold Fury. Now we might be able to bother them enough to get them off of the Fire Giant here and turn around and do it ourselves. Really good play from AMA, getting him off that Fire Giant. We still do have to deal with all of these Onis though in mid and left. They're gonna go kind of tear us a new one. That's another great kill right there because we got those kills. We're not gonna be able to do fire because they've still got 3 up, but we can at least buy some time to go around and do all of these Oni creeps so we don't lose any T2s. And we're still pretty much dead even, so we just need to make sure that we're getting grouped up. We need to make sure that we are getting Baba Yaga some XP. Grabbing ourselves into a Deathbringer for the next item. If you are going to build crit right now in Season 9 on a Hunter, crit is fine. It has its good uses. It's not necessarily something you buy on every god, but it has its good uses. Make sure you're buying Deathbringer. Make sure you're buying Deathbringer. There's really no reason to buy a crit item in Smite right now if you're not going to have Deathbringer. We got the Atalantis, gave us some crit, pairing it nice with the Deathbringer. That Deathbringer gives you that bonus % damage, which actually makes the crit damage quite relevant. Without it, way less important.
There is no escape.
Exactly what I wanted.
Now, they could actually be over on fire. It doesn't look like they are.
To the rescue.
Okay. Dodgy ult down. Gotta run away. Looks like I might get dodged again. So I gotta go ahead and Aegis that once again. Gonna get dove to my Phoenix line, and it doesn't look like we are going to have any peel there. They've got a pretty, oh no. They've got a pretty straightforward plan, I would say. Obviously, dive the Hunter wherever he is. So right now, what we need to be doing better is the Emir needs to be standing by me and Baba and being on strict peel duty. Strict peel duty. He should not be going for initiations at all right now. AMA and Loki can go ahead and dive their backline. We need the Emir to sit on me and Baba, put some walls in between us and these multiple dodges. He's got to be on peel-in duty. Once again, us not being fully grouped is causing us problems. Still causing us problems.
The enemy team has destroyed the
And they're
fire
probably
truck.
just going to keep turning into Dodgy because Dodgy did so well in the early game, and then they've got the double assassinations with the Morrigan as well. Now they've got the fire giant. We're just kind of on the defensive.
This land is mine.
So at this point, they've got about a 6K lead. We could potentially put up a Phoenix, a tier 2 fight before the Phoenix. If we had some decent vision out, that would be possible. I think that everybody's going to want to play it back, though, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get positioned together outside of the Phoenix. Our grouping skills have been a little lackluster, so we're just going to have to kind of go to the Phoenix, chill there, kind of force us to get grouped up and go for a nice team fight. We've also got the Emir walls and the Anhur pillar, so we've got a lot of preventative measures to stop them from hitting the Phoenix as well. Main target priority here would love to be the Morrigan. She's going to be really hard to target prioritize, though. Realistically, I'm going to be getting dove by a double Dodgy, which means that my target priority is just going to be living through the Dodgy. That's all I'm basically going to be trying to do. Throw out a nice little pillar right there. That was a really good freeze from Ymir onto the Wukong. It's going to force him to use his ulti, which is high. Kepri getting a little greedy there moving forward. Unfortunately, our Ymir had the same problem. I'm going to ulti for the wave. That way they do have to go ahead and tank this whole thing.
Your left Phoenix has been destroyed.
This land is mine.
That is a Wukong ult down. I am going to be able to grab myself a Dodgy. She got a little too ahead of herself. Got to grab a Death's Embrace just to help me live a little bit more. It might not end up mattering, so that might actually be the end of the game. But I am going to grab that Death's Embrace. We've got 20 seconds left in the respawn. I really don't have a choice but to just kind of get in here and go for it, because they're just going to be able to kill that Titan. So on Anhur, you're getting a little bit more power. Those crits are going to come online in the late game. And of course, as always, the big lesson, the big takeaway from this one is get grouped up earlier. So that way you can go do objectives and make sure you're buying more wards as a team and keeping those objectives warded. We gave up a lot of free gold furies, a lot of things over by the fire giant. Make sure you're getting grouped up as a team over by those objectives so that you can actually contest them. And mid lane is a really, really important role to be winning in, and you can't afford to do like 6 times less damage in the mid lane, guys. And that is our Anhur Season 9 guide. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe over on YouTube and ring that bell for notifications to support the Twitchiest community. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.